Hello, hello. Are we live? All right. Well, we'll wait for some people to get in here because I have a very important spiritual message. It's not just a spiritual message. This is a message that is life-changing, okay? And it's been life-changing for a family. So, woofda. We'll just put down here. Welcome, collectives. All right. We'll wait a little bit longer because I can't see who's all in here. Let me see here. Um, all right. I'm able to see. I'll just set it right here because don't really know yet, but this way I can try to follow along with the comments. So I have been brought to be an advocate speaker because of the spiritual blessings that God gives me in the divine communication. I'm going to tell you guys a little story, and it's very important, not only to me, but to the family. And so I'm going to put this out here. So I want to say it was 2.5 years ago. I had a friend that I had met spiritually. She was just walking down the sidewalk, and um, I had stopped her, not knowing, and asked her, "How does this resonate with you?" It turned out to be her grandfather and her grandmother coming through wanting to communicate, and we started to build a beautiful friendship. And I would say it was like maybe 2 weeks to a month later, she reached out to me because she now knows what I have done. She knows that I connect with the divine. I connect with the crossed over. I get divine messages from God, and give the guidance and everything. And she had reached out to me and gave me this girl's number and said, "It's really important that you get a hold of her." And right away, my intuition and my radar antennas are going off, going, okay, okay, because I'm always one to help in any way, shape, or form. So I reached out to this, and I'm keeping the names confidential until I'm able to get to this part. The names are confidential to protect the family at this point. Um, but I reached out and I said, "Sweetheart, I know you don't know me, but I have been guided to communicate with you through one of your friends gave me your number, and I want to give you some information of the download because mind you, this friend that connected her and I, because God has a unique way of bringing people together for a reason, right? They interconnect for a reason. They had brought us together for a unique reason, and before I had actually reached out to her, I was getting these massive downloads, and they were giving me the goosebumps everywhere, and the angels were hugging me, and God was telling me that, this is where you really need to step in, you really need to help. And so I called her and I said, "Hey sweetheart, I know you don't know me, but I'm a psychic medium, I'm a natural intuitive healer, and I'm here because I have some information about your daughter." And right away you could hear kind of like, "This is bullshit. How do you know?" Um, because I'm sure she had a lot of people who were coming at her who were not divine, who were not divination readers, who were not spiritual teachers and spiritual guidance workers and stuff that were blessed by God. But she listened. And I said, "Before you tell me anything, I want to let you know intuitively, I got a flood of messages and I drew out a map, and you can kind of hear it in her voice go, and I could hear some, talk in the background. At the time, I didn't know what was going on, and I could hear a male figure in the background, kind of upset, um, and I didn't really know what was going on at the time within that family dynamic. The things that I had channeled to her is that I have a direct map to a location I've never been. It's given me specifics about a situation, and I described this little girl and the colors of her swimsuit, the colors of her scrunchies, the specific locations between the pillars of the bridge, and a specific location between where it comes down. You have all the water over here. There's a little island and there's a little water passage here. And I gave specifics all the way down to this fallen over tree that's hanging in the water with this red house. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because this is very specific. So please, people, if you're listening, it's very important. And all of a sudden, this woman started crying. And at the time, she had a divine masculine come near the phone and say, "You're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe this. Listen to this. Listen to this." And I said the same thing to him. And I said, "I would like to meet up with you." Come to find out, and look, spirit is here right now. I've got the goosebumps all over my cheeks. They are communicating with me already, because 2 days ago, and I hadn't talked to this family. Let me back up. Okay, they said, let me back up. So anyways, I had spoke with the father, and you could tell his heart was broken. You could tell this man was in pain. You can tell the mental anguish that he was feeling, the anxiety and everything that was going on. And I could feel and sense everything that he was feeling, even though I didn't know the full story. And he didn't want to give out information at that time because of the fact he didn't want fraudulent lower energies making shit up and making it look something completely different. Anyways, so after speaking with him, he said that he knew that God brought me into his life and to his wife's life, into his family's life, because there's no way that me never seeing these people not a day in my life, not talking to them, speaking to them ever a day in my life, never in a day in my life being at this location. And as we started talking and I kept giving them more information, they were willing to meet up with me physically and see, because they were orchestrating a search and rescue mission. They were orchestrating canaver dogs and everything else. You see where this is going now. Intuitively, I was intuitively investigated something that was going on, not having a connection with the family, because that's what we do as divine spiritual teachers or light workers or star seeds or empaths. We get the communication from God, because God is the one that gives us our missions. So they were orchestrating this, and I said, well, how can I help? And you're talking a family very distraught, heartbroken, devastated, sabotaged, crushed, decimated, however you want to put it. The heartbreak was real. The heartbreak was true. And so we pulled together and, we got divers. Well, they got divers. Um, we got canaver dogs that came from Colorado. We had the local news there. And we spent the whole weekend at this place. And I'll tell you the place here because I'm going to end up showing you some stuff here to show you. This isn't made up. This is real. God is real. And he brings people into your life for a reason. And the reason why this is so important, where I need you guys to hit that like button, this has nothing to do with me and subscribers. This is about hitting that like button, and this is about sharing this. Because once you hear the full story of what I'm allowed to speak, because we'll get to that, it gets me very emotional. I feel the family's anxiety. But we went, and I want to give a shout out to Sam's Club. Sam's Club donated a whole crate of water for everybody who was out there searching for this 8-year-old little girl, okay, who come up missing. We don't know the full story because there was 3 little girls. From what I'm understanding, there was 3 little girls, but 2 were rescued from the helicopter. The helicopter seen this third one that I'm talking about. They seen her, but didn't get back in time to get her. So we searched all weekend. You'll be able to go on to the family's page and be able to see. We had t-shirts made, me and my friend Laura. We had t-shirts made because her name is Terry Price, okay? Nickname, her name is Juicy. We call her Juicy's World. So we had t-shirts made for this beautiful young lady. And like I said, I've got goosebumps. It's the angels and everything are hugging me right now. We had t-shirts made, and we all wore t-shirts in honor of her searching. And I'm talking, we searched from the beginning of the morning until dark. Now you're talking about, and I'm going to stand up for this family, because any lower energies that want to talk crap on this family, this was not negligence of them. This family is a very loving family. Okay? It's daddy's little angel and mama's little princess. The thing is, they go out every single day. It doesn't matter if it's snow, rain, sleet, hail. They don't care. They go out every day walking to Schramm Park. It's a state national park. They were out there having, the mother of this daughter was out there spending time with her children. And this little girl come up missing. Now daddy believes that he believed when we were in the search that she was still alive. They had people messaging them saying, "Oh, I seen her down in Arizona," or "I seen a daughter that looked like this." Okay, no, don't do that to the family, because mentally and emotionally, physically, mentally, emotionally, this family is exhausted. Their hearts are shattered. And on March 8th, this is what I'm talking about. On March 8th will represent 1,000 days that this beautiful, angelic little light worker, she was one of us, come up missing. And her body still hasn't been recovered. So I'm going to read you this here, because Tyree, Price, we call her Juicy, so I'm going to refer to her as Juicy. But in the actual FBI report that I'm holding right here from the sheriff's department and everything, it says, Juicy and 4 other children were playing with a dog at the river at Schramm Park State Recreational Area in Gretna, Nebraska on June 11th, 2020. when she got separated from her mother and the others on a sandbar. The Sarpy County Sheriff's Office said she was last seen a half-mile downstream from the recreational area. So she was swept away a half-mile is where the helicopter had spotted her. She has a dimple on her left cheekbone. She has a 4 to 5 inch scar on her upper left leg. She was last seen, and this is what the family can tell you. I described what she was wearing, but she was last seen wearing her pink and white tribal swimsuit with a blue and white tie-dye scrunchie with her hair pulled back in a ponytail. The sheriff's office said they've conducted a water search downstream from the park to the Missouri River, to the park and ground search as far as downstream to Highway 50 at Huron Bay with no sign of this little girl whatsoever. The Sarpy County Sheriff's Office is requesting that anyone who was at that park or was at the scene that day, at that time of Juicy's disappearance, or have witnessed anything in the event of her disappearance, please, I need you to call the sheriff's department, the sheriff's hotline at 402-593-1593. Again, here's the number for the sheriff department. Okay, these are the platforms that we have put it on. Now I'm going to show you, because these were flyers that the family had put up. This is that beautiful little angelic starseed light worker. She was very angelic. Man, she was the life of the party from the information that I got spiritually, and her family confirmed it. As you can see, her nickname is Juicy. We call her Juicy's World because that girl was so gifted and so talented. She was so smart, and she was the pillar of the family. And when I say the pillar of the family, she could make that family laugh. That girl could sing. She could turn that frown upside down and turn her whole family's dynamic around. All because she wanted to go swimming on a very hot summer day. And our summers here, sometimes they get to be 117, depending on the temp. But they were having a family recreation or family time with the kids, creating memories. And now all we have is the memory of her missing. The anniversary is coming up. The anniversary is coming up March 8th. She will be gone for 1,000 days, people. 1,000 days. That's 2 years and almost 10 months. This family has suffered. Not only did they lose their daughter, they lost their home, they lost their whole self. The lower energies have tried to tear this family apart. And all they're trying to do is bring their baby girl back home so they can be at peace, so that they can hold her in their hands, not physically like they want to, because this should have never happened. But when God shows me something and brings me to a family that I have never met, it is important to listen that what I do is divinely guided by God. And this is my own deck that I made. I made this shortly after meeting the family because we became deeply rooted and connected. God could see that their DNA needed healing, that their DNA needed a spiritual light worker to uplift them and say, hey, we ain't going to stop till we bring your daughter home. All the leaves that have been severed from the trees will be replanted when we can bring her home for them. But on this card, Mother Earth Gaia, the green goddess, God is supporting us. We're standing in our power to give them divine healing. They need this healing because, you know, let let me bring up something else here that is very significant. And I am not giving details because I am not going to break my confidentiality with the family. But I have asked them, let's do another search. Because when we did the search, the cadaver dogs picked up scents from this little girl. Now, mind you, this current in this state park meets up with the Missouri River. And everybody who has the knowledge, in some areas, that Missouri River can reach up to 200 feet deep, depending where on the location. But that bridge that I described and drew out, I sketched the whole park, the bridge, the pathway, the house, described the campers, the kayaks and everything, the red and green kayaks. I described that all to a T, and that fallen tree. You know, the sad part is this family who was going through all of this pain and suffering, this person that owned this property here knew that they were looking for their daughter. They knew that they were looking for their daughter. And what did they do? They put up a big privacy fence, a no trespassing, and they said, we will, I don't know if I should say it on here because I'm not bullying, I am repeating, but they threatened to shoot us when we were looking for her daughter, for his and her daughter, for their brothers and sisters to have their big sissy back home. And we reached out to the park and recreational. We reached out to the higher authorities. And they said, as long as you're in the water and you come up to that property, there ain't nothing they can do. Nothing. That is government property and you can be there. So this husband and wife, and mind you, I had my ports and drains in, going through my own situation at this time, but it's not about me. This husband and wife, they started about a half mile up from where all this was taking place, where the news crew and all the search team and everything, they took a blow up raft because nobody would provide them an airboat. Nobody would provide them a boat to search for their daughter. They took a blow up raft, started there, and went all the way down, searching. And that was dangerous. They risked their own life to find their daughter. That is true unconditional love. That is the power of a great mother and father who have suffered too much. That day that we had done this, there was some people out there in a canoe, out there helping. They had the conniver dogs in there, in the canoe, because nobody, and we made it public on platforms. Nobody wanted to come in with an airboat, but yet there was airboats flying back and forth, back and forth. That's not the point. I am not here to push out what people didn't do with the caring, compassionate heart. I'm talking about the love, dedication, and devotion. Complete strangers embracing this family and their other children. The conniver dogs go out. The conniver dogs and their masters are all tired. They take a moment and let the dogs rest. So these people jump into the canoe and they go out and they start searching. And when they got to that 11th pillar that I described in my drawing, something happened where that current flipped the canoe, gashed the woman's head open, and we were now trying to rescue this woman who was trying to help in search for their daughter. It was very scary. It was very scary. But the search continues. And I made a vow to this family. I will not give up until their daughter is home. And mind you, I've had a lot of events going on in my own personal life with people and the lower energies trying to sabotage things. 2 days ago, 2 days ago, I keep this flyer and her picture up all the time. And you see my computer setup. These right here fell on my computer. And it was like Juicy was trying to say, hey, listen, I'm trying to communicate. I'm trying to put it out here. I need you to reach out to my mom and dad. I need you to reach out to my mom and dad. Well, I didn't have a current number for them because they went through so many struggles mentally, emotionally, physically, you know, losing their home on top of it, being just everything hitting them all at once. And they couldn't trust and believe in anybody. And the one person that stuck by their side, because everybody else was trying to separate the husband and wife, wanting to come in with all these negative vibrations. And I kept telling them, I trust and believe in both of you. We will get through this. And unconditional love. Has nothing to do with my spirituality right now. This is me as an individual wanting to help. When I see two beautiful souls who have a young life, they have, I call it a young life ahead of them because they're young souls. But this husband and wife have been together since they were teenagers. Teenagers. God brought them together as teenagers. And their love is so strong for each other. But there was everything trying to pull them apart. I trusted and believed in them. That we will get through this. You will stay strong. We will get through it. But the one thing is I haven't fulfilled my promise with bringing her home. So anybody, if you have any information, if you were at Schramm State Recreational Park that day on June 11th of 2020, and we're in 2023, people, this family deserves that peace, that love, that harmony. They deserve to have their daughter back home. I have watched these two mentally, emotionally break down in a way because of their unconditional love for their daughter and for their family. I have watched her siblings break down. And it's sad because people in humanity would come up and they would be walking in the state park and they're like, oh, aren't you the family that's missing that girl? But they wouldn't help them. How do you think that makes somebody feel? When your 8-year-old daughter, who has a whole life in front of her, who was a very spiritual, loving, caring, compassionate, funny jokester. She was so gifted and so talented in everything that she did. A great singer, everything. Great dance moves. This girl had a future. And this mother and father is so proud of their daughter, but they miss her so much that their life has turned into shambles. They don't get to enjoy life right now because as a family, they stay united and they go every single day searching, hoping, praying that somebody's seen something or somebody has found something on the side of the riverbank to give them some clue. Because the envision that I was given And I won't say it because I know it hurts the family, and I'm not here to hurt the family. But the ironic thing is the father and I, yes, we did everything we could. And I want to thank you because when I got stuck on that barbed wire fence and gashed my leg open in them 2 spots, he was there to help me down. He was there to help me through it. But that's besides the point. We are willing to risk our life to save and bring this baby girl home. She deserves it. The family deserves it. The mother and father deserve to have that mental anguish, their broken hearts, so that they can start healing again. So please hit that like button, share it, spread it, let it be known. And anybody who has any information, again, the number, it's the sheriff, the Sarpy County Sheriff's Department. It's 402-593-1593. If you have any information, if you were out there that day and you come across this video, have that compassion for the family. Don't be afraid to speak up. Don't hold in the information that you have because that could be the missing key component that they need. So I'm sending lots of love out to the Price family. And we will set up another search and rescue mission. And this time it's going to be bigger. And we will come home with her. I love you guys. Keep staying strong. And I'm here in your defense. And we will never let Juicy's memory die. We will never let her memory fade away. And all these other missing children, I'm putting this out there now alongside the other family because God is telling me there are so many other missing children that the locals do not keep searching for. I watched this family go through so much dismay of the officials not wanting to keep searching, keep looking, keep spending the funds to find this girl. Okay, people, God says, be generous, be loving, come from that compassion to have that unconditional love. Because if it was you in this position, you would feel the same strife that this family has felt for 1,000 days. 1,000 days. And the day before that, they were laughing, joking around as this happy, harmonious family that they created. But on June 11th of 2020, their life was in shambles. And I told them, when you look at this 6/11/2020, this is God's synchronicity of she was a girl and this was a family of unconditional love who was on their divine path, who was creating the stability within their family dynamic, and they lost their daughter. Their daughter came up missing. So please, people, pass this around, share it. We need to find her and bring her home for them. Sending lots of love and light, peace.